Hello, I'm Dr. George Ampat. I'm a consultant orthopaedic surgeon and work in Liverpool in United Kingdom. We are going to discuss the need for lifestyle medicine and how it is different from conventional medicine. The Global Burden of Diseases published by the World Health Organization showed that in the early 1990s, non-communicable diseases overtook deaths from communicable diseases. This is the global picture, and even in this global picture, infections had stopped becoming the biggest killer and non-communicable diseases became the bigger killer. According to the World Health Organization, 41 million deaths out of the 55 million global deaths in 2019 were due to non-communicable diseases. More importantly, 47% of premature mortality was caused by non-communicable diseases. The WHO considers any death before the age of 70 as a premature death. This graph shows the causes of death over the last 120 years. The light blue at the top is the death caused by infectious and parasitic diseases. During the 20th century, we can see that the number of deaths caused by infections and parasitic diseases are decreasing significantly and now only contribute to a small amount of global deaths. There are again two other statistics that are important. One is the leading cause of death and the other is the actual cause of death. These are figures from the United States of America, and according to the Center for Disease Control, heart disease and cancer are the leading causes of death. This may make us spend more on treatments for heart disease and cancer. However, the same data, if analyzed differently, shows that the greatest actual causes of death were from tobacco use, poor diet, and physical inactivity. Correcting these modifiable risk factors is easier and more economical than finding new drug treatments for heart disease and cancer. Another interesting statistic is avoidable death or premature death. Among the avoidable deaths, there are preventable deaths and treatable deaths. Preventable deaths are deaths which could have been prevented by public health policy or prior to the onset of disease. Treatable deaths could have been avoided with the right secondary care. This involves treatment after the onset of disease. 2/3 of avoidable deaths are preventable deaths and only 1/3 of avoidable deaths are treatable deaths. Now let us look at the data from the United Kingdom. Let us take 2019, which is prior to the pandemic. 1/4 of all the deaths were avoidable. In the past, we were fighting against antigens. Now, we are fighting against anthropogens. Agents created by humans are destroying the human race. Anthropogens are defined as man-made environments, their byproducts, or lifestyles encouraged by those environments, some of which have biological effects which may be detrimental to human health. The evidence for lifestyle medicine came from the work by Dan Beuttner. He was a National Geographic journalist and identified 5 areas in the world where there were the maximum number of centenarians. The 5 areas were Okinawa in Japan, Icaria in Greece, Sardinia in Italy, Nicosia in Costa Rica, and Loma Linda in California. These are not just islands. Loma Linda is in California and in the United States, but has a high rate of centenarians. Loma Linda has a significant Seventh-day Adventist population. The Seventh-day Adventists are a group of Christians who are very close-knit community, providing a lot of social support and encouraging a plant-based diet. This article on lifespan and health span summarizes how life expectancy has changed over the last 100 years, living to and dying at older ages. The most recent US life table from 2010 implies that half of the males born today will survive to 78 years and half of the females will survive to the age of 83. These ages were 55 and 58 years in 1900. The increases in life expectancy mean that now most people will live to old age, and once they reach old age, they will live longer than that they used to. This shows that medical advancement in the last 100 years has increased our life expectancy by about 30 years. However, the most important thing is not just to add years to life, but to have life in those added years. It is hence important that we look at how lifestyle affects our later years. Let us look at our checkout, not from Hotel Hilton or from Tesco, but from Hotel Earth. We are all temporary residents on Hotel Earth, and one day we have to check out of Hotel Earth. Let us look at the fictional checkout of Susanna, a British woman, and Sakura, a Japanese woman. Susanna was a civil servant and retired at the age of 65. When she retired, her social circle contracted. She was spending most of the time that she was awake watching television. About 9 hours of TV time per day. She fractured her wrist in her late 60s, her spine in her 70s, and her hip in early 80s. She is diagnosed with dementia at the age of 81 and moved into a nursing home at the age of 81. She passed away at the nursing home at the age of 86. That is the British checkout. Now, let us look at Sakura. She is 96 and is still working. She still does some traditional knitting and sells the product to the local supermarket. She is still making money. She teaches mathematics to 2 of her great-grandchildren 2 days a week. She exercises in the park with her mates between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. At the age of 96, she goes to sleep and passes away in her sleep. That is the Japanese checkout. You don't need to be a brain surgeon to decide which checkout you want. So, what is the definition of lifestyle medicine? Lifestyle medicine has been defined as the evidence-based practice of assisting individuals and families to adopt and sustain behaviors that can improve health and quality of life. This is a busy slide that compares and contrasts between conventional medicine and lifestyle medicine. Conventional medicine takes into consideration risk factors and looks at factors in the short term that affect health. In contrast, lifestyle medicine looks at the medium and long-term factors that affect our health and longevity. In conventional medicine, the patient is the passive recipient of care. He or she takes the tablets or injections as the health professional recommends. In contrast, in lifestyle medicine, the patient is an active partner in the care process. They change their lifestyle to improve their quality and length of life. In conventional medicine, patient does not need to make significant changes. In contrast, in lifestyle medicine, the patient is expected to make significant and large changes. In conventional medicine, treatment is on the short term. In contrast, treatment in lifestyle medicine is long-term. In conventional medicine, there is an emphasis on diagnosis and prescription. In contrast, in lifestyle medicine, there is an emphasis on motivation and inspiration. In conventional medicine, there is less emphasis on the environment, whilst in lifestyle medicine, there is a greater consideration of the environment. Conventional medicine involves predominantly medical specialists or doctors. However, lifestyle medicine involves greater input from allied health professionals. In conventional medicine, the doctor generally acts on a one-to-one basis. In lifestyle medicine, the doctor is the coordinator of the health professional team, which involves input from allied health professionals. In summary, and to conclude, prior to the 19th century, infection and antigens were the factors that killed us more. The current biggest killer is not antigens but anthropogens, agents created by man. These are the greatest factors that are killing and disabling us presently. We have added 30 years of life to our life expectancy, and it is important that we live those added 30 years with vitality and health and not with disability and illness. Thank you so much for listening. If you found this video useful, like the video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much.